Let's listen to Pete Buttigieg talk and then discuss what it is he's got to say.
There are things that we just accept that are totally unacceptable, that need more attention. Like if fixing money in politics or getting Congress to actually act as a constraint on the presidency, or any of the other reforms we need, if that takes a constitutional amendment, let's do a constitutional amendment. Let's build the case for that right now. And there's a whole set of things like that in our economy, our society, our politics, that we act as if they're sustainable, and they're clearly not. And as much as I believed in reform 7 years ago, right now I believe more than ever when folks are paying, jet fuel is doubled, diesel is up, gas is up, mortgages are higher because the president starts a war that he thinks there's no accountability for. Congress can't do anything, or won't do anything, even though they have war powers, theoretically. All of these things are happening because you have a president who's unaccountable, because we have a system that desperately needs reform. And as we're coming up on the 250th anniversary of our country, it's not enough to just assume that these systems are going to keep working. My warning to my own party is to avoid the temptation to think that we can just somehow take power and put everything back the way it was. The way it was wasn't working either.
The way it was led to the way it is now.
Exactly. All of that.
So somebody's got to change.
Okay. So he is talking about Congress's ability or inability to rein in the presidency and suggesting that if it's going to take a constitutional amendment that we start building a case for that right now. Now, I want to preface everything I'm about ready to say by telling you that if I had my hand pick of who could be the next president of the United States, I would pick Pete Buttigieg. Having said that, I disagree with the approach that he has going on here. It would be nice to be able to pass a constitutional amendment to better this country. But if anybody knows how impossible that is, it's Pete Buttigieg, right? I mean, he's been in government for a minute. He understands this. In order to have a constitutional amendment passed, you need it to pass by 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate. It needs to be signed by the president, and it needs to be ratified by 38 states. There are not 38 states that are willing to rein in the president because they want their guy to be able to do things like Donald Trump is doing. Think about the 38 states you might get. Let's just go through the blue states: Hawaii, Oregon, Washington State, California, New Mexico, Minnesota, Illinois, New York. You can go Vermont, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. You're at 11, right? Delaware. Give them the swing states, right? Go Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. Give them Arizona. Hell, give them Georgia. You're still at 17 states. You need 38. It's not, in today's day and age, I don't think that you can build an argument for a constitutional amendment that would actually get passed and ratified by that many states. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be up to our children and our grandchildren to make those kinds of changes at that level. What we can do is we can get back into power, and we can put things back the way they were, but better than they were, and through the legislative process, be able to pass bills that rein in the president that are going to get challenged and go to the Supreme Court, and you take your chances with that. But that's a far more effective way, in my opinion, than trying to get a constitutional amendment passed and ratified that you are never going to get 38 states to agree on what we should rein the president in on or not. It's never going to happen. The only time the red states are going to agree to it is when a Democratic president's in office, and maybe there's your window. But I don't even think they're going to agree to it then. Because if it's a Democratic bill that's put forth, they're just going to say, no, we're not going to go along with it.